Hello everyone, this is Super Comic Girl and I'm back with another video. So once again I'm doing these reviews at night because it seems to be the only time that I can actually produce a video that doesn't have glare coming at my face. So yes, I am very happy about that. Okay, so this video we're doing a review of 4 comics because there's only 14 left because the Scorched comics I do their own individual one. I don't do them with the group. So at some point next year you will get the review for November's Scorched issues. So please bear that in mind when you watch it. So, yeah, so only 4 comic books I'm reviewing, and the next one will be going back to 5. And, yeah. So, once again, rule is I start with the first one last and the last one first. The last one first and the first one last. So, here we go. Okay. So, we're doing a review of Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise issue number 1. And this was actually one of the better of the 2 covers. I will say, point blank, I was not sold on the artwork. Yeah, here's some cover art, or not cover art, but interior art. So, yeah, so first of all, I want to say I am not sold on the artwork at all. The artwork is god-awful bad. I know everybody has their own style of artwork, but okay. So this is actually a series of short stories, which I did not know this, and it definitely is not covered when you have somebody showing you what comic books are coming out. And the first one is called Nothing, and it is actually very difficult to follow. You are like, Doctor Strange is doing what Doctor Strange does, and it makes little to absolutely no sense. So the Nothing actually is nothing. Then we have Genevieve, the Force. Once again, I have no idea what the person was on when they decided to make this comic, but none of the stories made a lick of sense. And I don't even know what universe Doctor Strange is in, but I don't think he's on Earth. Just a thought. I'm going to give issue 2 a chance. But if issue 2 turns out to be just as bad as issue 1, in my ability to understand what the fuck I'm reading, I will, redeem it. So it's 2 stars. I just didn't like the issue at all. So we have a new comic that new comic book series I've introduced to my growing pile of comic books, or growing pile of sacrifice trees. And this is Detective Comics issue 166. This is the opera edition. And I showed this on Facebook when I got it, and they absolutely thought that this was just a fire cover. And I'm going to say I do not. I have never bought a detective comic in my life. I got the facsimile issue of Detective Comics, the first appearance of Batman. I liked it, but I wasn't really sold on Detective Comics and everything until I saw this cover, and I was like, oh man, I gotta buy this issue. So I was not going to get a Detective Comics. I went ahead and got it, and yeah, it was pretty good. Here's some interior art. And even though I've not read the previous issues, and I am going to actually buy the back issues of Detective Comics, not all of them. I'm just going to stick with the issues that the comic book shop has. But it turned out to be enjoyable, and I can see why Detective Comics is one of DC's most best-selling comics. And it was just enjoyable. I loved it a heck of a lot better than Doctor Strange, so I'm going to give it 5 stars. Like I said, I don't understand anything that goes into the comic, but I can also say without a doubt that this is not a bad issue. I thought that the illustrations were really well done. I really liked what happened to Two-Face. I also happen to like what we see inside Two-Face's mind, which was different. And yeah, it's definitely an issue that I will um, definitely continue to read. So, where am I at? Okay, there we go. So 5 stars. That was a good one. Okay. Oh, I'm about to do a bad review on this one. This is the Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue number 2. And I decided when I got the first issue that I was going to give the second issue a chance, and then I was just be like, okay. So the first issue was somewhat good. It was actually better than Doctor Strange. But I cannot digest this shithole of a comic. It is just so god-awful bad. I don't really understand any of this. I don't understand this artifact, and it's just, there's a lot of stuff in it I just don't like. I'm sorry, I cannot swallow this comic. This is the worst Spider-Man comic that I have ever read in my life. The Axe Judgment Day Amazing Spider-Man was a heck of a lot better. I actually cried over that issue. So 1 star. I'm not buying this issue again. So it is stopping at issue 2. Last but not least, we're doing DC vs. Vampires issue number 11 of 12. I have this and Dark Knights of Steel are 2 of my favorite Elseworld series. You cannot tell me that Dark Knights of Steel is not an Elseworld title. It just feels like an Elseworld title. This one, it has our heroes fighting vampires. We know that we find out that Martian Manhunter is a vampire. Why in the world they would willingly want to be transformed into creatures whose only goal is to kill people, I do not understand, but it's a good story, and I can get into it. I can ignore the fact that Martian Manhunter is a fucking vampire. And it is just a great issue. The issue ends on a good note. We have Lobo. Lobo is probably a character that I really don't make contact with at all in the comics. But to have him in there, to know that he's not loyal to anyone is just typical Lobo. Overall, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to show the end of it. So this month is going to be the last issue of DC versus Vampires. I am really wondering how they're going to end this series. It has been really good throughout the entire run. It's been a year. I think they took a month break and then they brought it back. I'm not exactly sure, because the issue that's coming up this month, issue number 12, the first issue I believe I read was December of last year, so they probably took a break before the next issue. But I'm just really eager to see how they end it. We know Supergirl's going somewhere. and it has just been a really interesting run. You know, how these heroes got overpowered by vampires and became one or were killed off. It's also going to be interesting to see what that particular universe is going to be like when everything is said and done. So I'm really excited about issue number 12. I really hope that issue 12 does not disappoint us. I'll be really heartbroken if it did. But I am going to give it 5 stars. It has just been a solid issue throughout. So anyways, that is my reviews for the 4 issues that I just covered. We're getting close to the end of the ones I got. I forgot what date I bought them. And then, so I got basically 10 more issues. Well, actually I have 11, but the Scorch is going to be a separate thing. I always make the Scorch a separate video. So I have basically 2 more comic book review videos to do for this one. And then I will be going and I will be doing the comic book reviews for the comic books I picked up on the 30th. And as all of you know from my comic book haul video I did on the 1st, you know that I did buy the Batman, the Detective Comics Annual. I was not going to buy the Detective Comics Annual, but I decided to go ahead and buy it. So anyways, I'm going to end it there. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and until next time, nerds, read on. Bye.